Hello common people, this is a Manga Reviews and I am your lovely host, Pepsi. Happy New Year everyone! We are going to kick this year going with some manga reviews and we are starting that with a little talk about anime. Well, this now cannot be nothing but good. If you have ever scrolled down on Netflix, just taking a quick look what they have to offer, you may have come across the rather weird anime called Baki the Grappler. I am not talking specifically about the anime here, but about the manga. What the hell is this thing, and should you have some interest to it? In 2018, Netflix gave its original net animation to us to see, and right off the bat, people who are watching this might feel kinda confused. Who are these people? Where do they come from? What the hell is this CGI abomination of an animation, and what the hell once more? Well, this is because Baki the Grappler originally came out in 1991 to 1999 in Weekly Shonen Champion. It popped out 42 tankobon volumes by publisher Akita Shoten. First animation of it came in 1993, which was original video animation, OVA in short. Later in 2001, 24-episode series came up, depicting Baki's early life and his journey to the point where Netflix continued where it is 2001 series left. And that's why you are missing a big chunk of awesome lore. And that's why I am here, to educate you, to get you more manly, to get more muscles, and to assert your dominance by T-posing. Warning, this review contains sweat, blood, and so much bodily fluids. Plot starts when we see a young thug beating up other thugs. Baki Hanna is raised by his insanely wealthy mother, Emi Akesawa, who tries to train and mold him to be the superior fighter. Why though? Because it so happens that his father is the strongest man in the planet Earth. Ogre, Yujiro Hanma, peak of strength and a fucking goat. This red-haired mad lad flexes so hard that his back forms the face of a demon. His buttocks are non-existent. His favorite hobby is to barge in, beat people up, and tell them how bad they are and then leave. This legacy is so known that every president in USA history has swore a peace treaty with him rather than his country, because they are so afraid of his ability to completely fuck them up. And oh yeah, Baki, the main character of the show. Yes, the one which has a manga named after him. That Baki. This boy tries to live a normal school life, but before this manga turns into a high school romance, he gets yoinked to fight different people. He gets a score off with a Yakuza boss, a 15-year-old Yakuza boss, who looks like 35-year Yakuza boss, and has a strength of 4 Yakuza bosses in each of his hands. Hanayama Kaoru is a prodigy of strength, who has insane grip power. He gets hold of you and you are a gunner. These young fighters duel in the fancy skyscraper, when suddenly Yujiro barges in, beats them up, tells them they are incomplete fighters and then leaves. And by the way, right now I am going to say that this joke, that the Yujiro barges in and beats everybody up, tells them that they are stupid, weak, etc. and then leaves, is an originally from the AR manga YouTuber. I really like the joke and it really emphasizes and is like a point on what is the Yujiro's thing. So I am using it because it's so funny, but the joke is originally his, so I will say it right now you know. After that, Baki goes into a training arc in the mountains. He trains with his old friend Ando, who is probably a giant at this point, but somewhere along the line he starts to seem a rather small man. We get into that later. Baki trains and fights against a creature called Yasha Ape, some kind of horrifying version of Bigfoot. It stands 2 meters tall and is a work to get down. Baki succeeds, doesn't kill it, goes home and trains more. After that, Yujiro barges in, hands him the head of the said Yasha Ape, laughs at Baki, beats him up and leaves. And also tells him that hey, we are going to fight soon, so get ready. Some shenanigans later, Baki fights some mercenaries and a bald man called Gaia. Then after more shenanigans, is now strong enough that his mother can parade him to his father. Like a nice little gift to someone, Baki's mother gets him into the field, where Yujiro barges in, stops an earthquake with his fist, beats Baki up, kills Emi, Baki's mother, probably thinks that they suck, and leaves. Baki then isolates himself for a while, getting more training in, leaving Japan for a while. Eventually Baki gets into the focus of this manga, the underground fighting arena. Here is where the magic happens. No matter what goes on in the outside world, everything eventually ends up here, fighting. Behind all this is this gremlin called Mitsunari Tokugawa, who owns and runs this place. Baki wants to get in. Only goal he has now is to get strong enough to avenge his mother, who loved him less than one chapter. I'm not questioning his motives or actions, he probably could kick my ass through a phone call. In the arena we meet a bunch of whimsical characters. We meet totally not racist stereotype of a Zulu warrior, a Russian wrestler, a bigger wrestler, a karate prodigy, a man with 4,000-year-old Chinese Kempo knowledge, an Aikido master, a karate grandmaster, who is also a former champion of the underground arena, a beautiful doctor and his nerve-loving brother, and so much more. Oh, and yeah, Baki has a brother who does steroids. Who could have guessed they all fight together, until the last man stands. Fights are brutal, bloody, and mesmerizing. There is blood, there is piss, there is everything. At some point, Yujiro barges in, attempts to beat them all up, but this time he gets knocked out by tranquilizers and is carried away to someone to persuade him not to beat everyone up, to tell them that they suck and then just leave. Tournament ends in the victory of Baki against his own brother. Baki is crowned the champion of the underground arena. And now we are at the point where you can start thinking about watching Baki in Netflix. Or then do the only thing your parents approve and read the manga to this point. But if you for some reason you are on your way to the certain doom and cannot do it, here are characters you have to know in order not to be confused. Yujiro Hanma, menace, a bar where everyone is trying to rage. Ruthless bastard. Jack Hanma, drug addict, and is addicted gaining height. And no, I didn't misspell weight. There is a visible height creep in this manga. People get taller, bigger, more muscular. 2 meters is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Baki is 170 centimeters tall. Character named T-Rex is about 3 meters tall. But back to the track. Stridam, a weird sergeant that tags along and flies Yujiro on the plane almost anywhere he wants to. Doppo Orochi, karateka grandmaster, swell guy. Katsumi Orochi, adopted son of Doppo, prodigy, professional asshole. Hanayama Kaoru becomes one of the best friends of Baki, badass through and through. Retsu Kaiyo, a Chinese Kenpo master. You will be seeing him and his marvelous locks later. Tokugawa, goblin in charge of the arena you watch men die. Kosue seems to be the only woman left after Baki's mother, is Baki's girlfriend. Keep her in mind, she will train Baki in the ways you won't even believe. Gouki Shibukawa, a Ryokuren character and an Aikido master, pretty tough for a skinny old man. Motobe Isou, basically a ninja who becomes more relevant and seen character later. Now, did I forget anyone? Oh yeah, Baki, the main character of the show. Now with all that knowledge, you are set and ready. Why should you care though? All I've done now is explained roughly what happens to the point of the series that are on the mainstream services. Well, I am so glad that you asked. Baki the Grappler is a manga that really likes to push reality around. It takes common, even minuscule facts and then just stretches them out of proportions. For example, in the earlier stages of manga, when Baki is just a kid, he throws himself from the ledge. Why? Because he wants to experience endorphins, those pain and fear swaying drugs of your own mind on body. He then gets them and successfully saves himself from deadly fall. Later he learns to release endorphins by twisting his ear. He uses his runner high to beat people up. Also things like reaction time or speed are completely unnatural in this world. Yujiro can catch an arrow before it flies out of the bow. Later Baki is able to throw a jab so fast that human brain cannot answer to it in time. Everything from people crushing cars and doing stuff normally heavy industrial vehicles do is present in this manga constantly. And the man behind all this beautiful madness is called Keisuke Itadaki, a god amongst mortals. He is crazy detailed with the stuff like muscles and techniques, does actual research of things and then just blows them out of the frames, making this whole divine soup that is Baki the Grappler. He also himself holds a degree in Shonrinji Kempo, which he has practiced since he was a teenager. He was an amateur boxer during his military service, has competed in a national sport festival, and I am not going to argue with his methods because he could probably kick my ass through a straight leather. He also has a daughter, Paru Itadaki, who is an author herself, and she draws Beastars, a manga / another Netflix original anime where anthropomorphic animals, carnivores and herbivores try to live side by side. Without going too much into it, she is his daughter and that shows. There are many weird things in Baki. Not just the things that were fighters constantly lose their teeth and then they just magically come back or grow back. There's piss, like a lot of piss. There are so many scenes of people pissing on each other, pissing themselves and whatnot, that I have grown accustomed to it. Baki himself likes to piss himself during fights or training. Baki also has superpower, an acute chronic schizophrenia. Baki uses this training method where he imagines enemy really hard. Before his fight with Retsu Kaio, he imagines Retsu and fights with him, getting wounds and stuff like you would normally get in the fight. Later in series, he schizos up and giant mantis, famous American boxers and some dinosaurs. He doesn't only imagine them hard enough for him to see, but so hard that others see those things as well. Here we are again, weird world of Baki, and I just love it and can't get enough of it. This manga, this anime, my all-time favorite stuff to read and watch. A masterpiece that, in its weirdness, classifies itself as a fighting/tournament manga, but is everything from a common hand-holding to the paranormal. It is insanely creative when it comes to fighting, and people in it don't have deep motives to fight. They are just there, wanting to be the strongest. When you get to know the characters, you just fall in love with them. They are really interesting. They all have their quirks, their styles and fighting styles, and then when Itadaki goes deep into their styles and techniques, you really learn to appreciate them. The world is fascinating, in its weird way, where power and this ultra masculinity just is pouring out from every orifice. It breaks the boundaries of logic, and because it's all based in real factual things, it is just marvelous to look at. Weapons and shit means nothing in this world. If you have a gun, you are as weak as a baby. If you are a professional athlete, you are a child. Only way to be strong is that you have never heard of, you pop up somewhere with a mysterious background, or that you are based on a legend of history. Which is something you will also see, if you indulge yourself further. You are also going to meet this man, Biscuit Oliva. Strongest man in America, and in many ways similar kind of dude like Yujiro. And unlike him, successful mercenary and strong as hell, and a household stable. There is nothing more deeper I want to talk about him. He just popped into my mind that I have to mention him because he is one of the obstacles and / mentor that Baki meets later. Now with all that said, I say again, it is a pleasure to start a new year with you, to make new reviews for you from the common man to the common people. This was my review about Baki the Grappler, a masterpiece through and through. This was Common Guy Reviews, and I am, even this year, your lovely host Pepse, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Goodbye.